Wait, am I on? Like, we actually recording? Okay, let me start. Hi guys. Hold on. Pause. Why am I even nervous? Like, hi guys. Hey guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Candid Conversation. What the fuck is that?
Candid Conversations with Kemar.
Hi guys, welcome to a brand new episode of Candid Conversations with Kemar. Firstly, I want to thank all of you for listening to episode 1. And to those of you who took the time out to reach out to me with your comments, just to let you know that they were greatly appreciated. And also shout out to my friends for the support. You know, you guys truly are the best. But now this week is just me, myself, and I. So some nice me time with you guys. I had a guest scheduled for this week and actually a whole other topic planned. But you know, some things we plan and God laughs, as the quotes would say. I had some issues early in the week, so I wasn't able to hop in the studio for my scheduled recording date. Our rescheduling didn't quite work out. And I was just like, man, can you promise people an episode every 2 weeks? So I decided to be here on my Good Up Sunday recording an episode for you guys. University, you know, currently got me in a chokehold. So I'm gonna just go ahead and apologize in advance for the release date. But I hope you guys enjoy this episode because we're about to get down to a couple of things today. But before we go down that road into the conversation, I want to inform you guys of a new segment in the podcast entitled Small Business Shoutout SBS. So last episode I've taken the time out to shout out ideas transformation as well as funnytainment, two small businesses that have young entrepreneurs at the core. So I said to myself, I need to shout out a small business, especially one run by a young entrepreneur each episode. So basically how it's going to go is that the time period between my last episode and the current one, any small business that I patronized during that time period and had an exceptional experience, I'm going to share with you guys. So my first official SBS goes to Way to Heaven 246 on Instagram. So I patronized that establishment on the 20th, literally the day before my birthday. So what had happened was your boy wasn't really in the mood to celebrate because of the whole curfew thing. So he really was procrastinating in terms of booking a hair appointment, all of that mumbo jumbo. So it really wasn't about it. And when I did reach out to my hairdresser, unfortunately she could not accommodate me. So practically 2 days before my birthday, I'm scrambling, thinking that, you know, I need to find a hairdresser, need to get my hair done. And I came across Way to Heaven 246 on Instagram. Actually in the past, I saw people repost over, and I also see her quite frequently in my Explore tab on Instagram. So I was like, no, Kemar, let me give her a shot. And let's just say I was not disappointed. What I wanted, I got, and I was happy, and that's all that matters because I had a pretty good experience there. And if I may add, also, like she works from out of her home, but I was really happy to see that she would have invested in, like, she had a temperature gun, and she was making sure to follow all COVID-19 protocols to not only ensure that she was staying safe, but also her customers are being safe also. So I was really thankful for that. Really happy to see, you know, temperature gun thing had me in my mind because actually, like, hey, you don't come across even some big businesses do not use temperature guns. So I was glad to see that, you know, I come to a small establishment, a small business, by a young entrepreneur, and she would invest in that equipment. So I was really happy to see that. So shout out to Way to Heaven 246 on Instagram. If you know, hooking your boy up with his birthday, here you do. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty. So today is the last day in January, the best month by the way, if I may add. It is still Aquarius season, so I'm happy for that. And in about 3 days time, we here in Barbados are supposed to have our second lockdown in under a year. So I'm not calling it by any fancy words that the Prime Minister would have branded it as. I think she called it a reset, a pause, all those, you know, things. But in the end of the day, no matter how much you dress it up, we know what it is. It's a lockdown. We're going to be on a 2-week lockdown, We're gonna be inside where we're supposed to be, unless you're on the road because you have to go to the supermarket or those minor things. But as far as we'll be inside on a lockdown until the 17th of February. Fingers crossed that it actually ends then. I don't have any hopes that they actually is gonna end on the 17th, but we will see when the 17th comes. And what I really want to discuss is, how did we get here? Like, how did we get back to this place? Like, we did so well after the first lockdown last March, and it's just like I kind of felt like all the progress was lost because it's a new year. I was thinking, we're gonna be outside for the new year and still in our own little normalcy, but clearly that didn't take place. But I want to run through the timeline quickly before I talk about present day, what's happening now. So, last year we had our first case in March. We had the lockdown, the curfew, etc. But with June, July, I think it was, you were practically outside. And I don't know how it was for you guys, but for me, being back outside, it was like hallelujah, some fresh air, get to mingle a bit, go on some drives, and do some sightseeing and things like that. And they saw persons that so many persons did. People were going to island drives, checking out places of interest across the island, and just simply finding ways to have fun while being safe. And then fast forward to August, we had a few events. I, for one, even attended one at Harbor Lights. That was on Kaduma Day, I believe. And I felt safe and stuff there. And for the most part, we were operating in a state of normalcy. September and October came. Remember, we had other CARICOM nations pressed, that we were able to enjoy and do all these things while they were inside under the different protocols by their governments. Because, like I said, we were operating in some sort of state of normalcy, and we were pretty much carefree. Because other than the one or two cases we were seeing once in a while, which would have been imported cases, we weren't, having any cases right here in Barbados. And some days even passed, we didn't even have any cases at all. So we kind of forgot that the rest of the world was busy fighting COVID. And, in my opinion, that's kind of where the problem started. But, November came and we were still doing relatively well, but then came dreadful December. As I'm calling December, because December just brought about all the bad things. I just wiped away all the good that we've been doing for the most part, you feel me? So I'm not really a fan of December. Now we're here present day January, and let's just say I can understand why Barbadians are blaming the government, why Bajans are upset and believe that Mia Motley-led administration would have dropped the ball in terms of protecting us from COVID-19 being in the community and things like that. But we also have to accept some sort of responsibility. And my take is that personal responsibility is very important when it comes to battling COVID-19, because there's only so much government can do. Government can put a number of protocols in place, but if you yourself don't take responsibility for your own health and wellness, nothing that government say can't help you. Because government could say, yes, wear a mask, yes, practice social distancing, and sanitize your hands or wash them frequently with soap and water. But government can't come and put the soap and water on your hands. They can't come and make sure you wear your mask correctly. They can't come and drag you up each time they see you not social distancing. So you need to take responsibility for your own health and wellness, and that is very important. And that doesn't just relate to us here in Barbados. I think across the world, I think if everybody just do what they need, what needs to be done, we would be in a better situation that we're in currently. And I'm gonna explain further down. So just give me, just bear with me. Listen to the podcast and just bear with me as I discuss this further. So we're gonna discuss three main things today. I want to discuss the situation regarding tourists, because that has been a hot topic for quite some time now. I want to discuss events, clubs, bars, fests, things like that. And I want to discuss everyday activities, things I see us doing as locals on an everyday basis that if we don't stop doing them, it's going to contribute to the spread of COVID in Barbados. But let's start with the situation regarding tourists, because that has been a hot
This episode was produced by Taken for Granted Productions.
topic for quite some time now. And I believe, as we go into lockdown, it's going to be a conversation that we're still having, because many people are pissed off and they blame the tourists for the situation that we're in. And many people are also blaming government because they too would have believed that government could have, blocked the UK visitors from coming into the island, or could have closed the airport entirely, things like that. But I don't think that was the appropriate solution for the problem. Because the problem that we were having was not that people were coming into the island, but the fact that persons coming into the island as staying at quarantine facilities, private quarantine facilities such as villas, hotels and stuff like that, weren't being properly policed. So that's where the issue occurred, because you're having people coming into the island, went to hotels and stuff like that to quarantine, but where is security? Why didn't the state have the BDF, police force, some sort of official security out there to ensure that these people didn't do what they did, which was break quarantine and went gallivanting across Barbados? Because you're giving these people fat bands. That's calling them what they were. Colored fat bands. Allowing them to stay at hotels, villas, wherever the case may be. There was no way to track these people. Where did you ensure, okay, these are listed places, we need BDF personnel situated out here to make sure that these people don't break quarantine. That's what should have occurred, but I honestly believe early in the year I saw some places had BDF security. I remember after the first lockdown, on the South Coast, I saw a hotel on the South Coast had a BDF personnel outside with a book, and he was monitoring the entrance/exit. So I'm confused as to what happened between then and now, that with these places no longer have the security of the armed forces. But that's where the main issue was the fact that people coming into Barbados and we don't know where they are, what they're doing, other than they're staying at S1E2 hotel, and S1E2 hotel is responsible for their security. But I still believe that government should have ensured that they had their own security in place, so that persons didn't do what occurred. Because the thing is that we had a long list of hotels that were approved quarantine facilities, and many people were still able to do what they want to do at these same said approved quarantine facilities. Because those people are looking to make money. Their aim is to please the guests. So they aren't really getting any forcings on their guests because they don't want their guests to be uncomfortable. Some are going to do it and some aren't going to do it because they want the guests to come back. They want the money. And that's where the problem lies. And I understood why government had a long list of approved quarantine hotels, because they figured they did it. So everyone's still getting a surety pie. So people can't say, oh, what going on the XYZ got as a quarantine facility, or this hotel or that hotel, or this place or that place. They made a lengthy list. You had a choice to decide where you wanted to go, and things like that. I assume that hotels are responsible for their own security, and I assume that the COVID-19 monitoring unit, before granting approval, would have done some sort of walkthrough to ensure that these hotels were following the protocols and things like that to be granted approval to be on the quarantine facilities list. But what I believe is that after the monitoring unit, people would have left, I believe these same hotels would have went back to doing things the way they're accustomed to doing things. So I know in some places, the front desk person, the same person checking temperature, the same person doing contact tracing, the same person watching the exit/the entrance, which is not fair. You should have somebody specifically doing that job. Because what happens when the front desk person leaves the front desk to go to the back to get a printout, or to deal with another guest, to deal with any situation that may arise, or simply to carry out their duties, he or she cannot manage watching the door themselves. You are supposed to put people in place to ensure those things are taking place. So Bob cannot say, okay, Susie turns she back, let me slip out here now quickly and go along my merry way and gallivant for the south, east and west coast of the island. That should never have taken place. So I blame government for that aspect, because it did not ensure that these quarantine facilities were secured properly. And that is where the problem occurred. So they can wholly blame for that. I don't think they should have closed the airport and none of that, because that was not the problem. Because remember, we had people coming in earlier in the year before Christmas, and the protocols were working. It's just that when the season came, the numbers increased, and government probably didn't know what to do. They didn't plan that far ahead. Clearly they did not. So have people coming in, a large number of people, you can't really track them, before you had a couple people coming in, you could able to monitor and say, okay, we know that 5 people staying at this hotel, some people here staying at here. So able to monitor them that kind of way, but not when there's a huge number coming in terms of huge numbers for COVID traveling. The numbers were higher for COVID season. They were less than our usual winter season numbers, but still high for traveling during COVID and what we were experiencing, since we reopened. So it was a huge number of people to really monitor and a huge number of people to do tests for. So those are things like that occurred. So I think that they failed to plan, and because they failed to plan, they failed in that aspect. That's just my opinion. Because that was the issue with tourists for me. Because I felt, the tourists, not saying the tourists aren't to blame, because what they did in terms of breaking quarantine was selfish and irresponsible. Point blank. Because I know you're going to come to someone else's country. You got the protocols before you would even travel. You knew what the protocols were. You knew what you were supposed to do. You knew how much time to book your ticket for. You knew to have things in place. And yet still you come here and do a bunch of foolishness. That was not alright, what they did. But it wouldn't have occurred if government also did their part. And that's the honest truth. But let's move on to events, because I want to talk about that too, because I know I saw many people that, were dragging the tourists and stuff like that, and doing all the things on social media and all of that mumbo jumbo, were some of the same people that I saw misbehaving themselves during the latter part of the year, at said events, at bars, at clubs, and doing all the things that they shouldn't be doing because COVID is in the island. And I think we forgot that, you're supposed to pretend that everybody has COVID. That's the only way that you as an individual can stay safe. Now, I'm not against anybody attending any events. Like I said earlier in the episode, I myself went to an event. That was August. At that point in time, I don't think we were open up fully that kind of way. No, yeah, we were actually, because flight started in July. But I don't think people were coming that kind of way. People really started coming in the latter part of the year. So we were pretty much safe. That August time, we were pretty much safe. It was practically just us alone for the most part. And the numbers coming into England were pretty much small, so they were manageable. The government was able to look and see, where these people are staying, monitor these people, things like that. But I remember seeing event promoters and stuff like that, had all COVID-19 protocols will be enforced, pretty across the posters and all that mumbo jumbo. But then when they get on social media, they can see at these side events, these protocols aren't being enforced. For them, protocols being followed is that when you get a door, just make sure your mask on, make sure that you get your hands sprayed with temperature check. And in some instances, some had contact tracing available. But when you get inside, nobody's there enforcing the mask wearing. So, and some events too, you get inside and it's crowded because the event promoter decided, I gotta make money, I gotta eat. So I'm gonna have my big event as usual, my big production. And even you could host 750 on a regular day, pre-COVID, I'm gonna scale on to 700. And that is not enough of a scale on, because you cannot practice social distancing in a venue that can hold 750. We have 700 people in that said venue. You need to come down to about 500 though, or probably even 4. And I don't understand why some of these events do not have smaller events. There's nothing wrong with having a smaller event if I'm a big brand. So I am brand XYZ. I know every time I have my event, my tickets is sell out. Regardless, people is be messaging me on the day they want tickets. People cussing me because I make a ticket. Things like that. People blue vex. I come in and telling you, okay, XYZ put out a date. 200 tickets only. We're going to the venue that can hold 400, but 200 tickets only being sold. And that is what we're putting out there to you. To you, the event goer. You decide if you come in or not. And for the most part, like I said already, I'm a big brand. I'm brand XYZ. So 200 people can buy my tickets and 200 people can come to my event. I tell you firsthand that it's a pandemic. Money ain't really there that kind of way. I understand y'all want fat. So I still want to live for a fat, But I can't have the usual big production as usually have, because like I said, it's a smaller scale event, a smaller size. So they're not gonna have the big. If we had a big production with a gym stage lighting, got the place lighted pretty, and all over the venue, I can't afford to have that big production anymore because money isn't there. But I still want to make sure I'm able to host an event for you guys. So I'm doing a small scale something, and if it turns out to be good, and I may do something 2 months later or something. So just to give people the option to come out and party. And if I am big brand XYZ, people that know my brand might say, okay, I know that Kemar does deliver a good product, and if Kemar says he can try his best to make sure this product is good, all on a small scale, and give Kemar my money. So you wouldn't have had a problem selling out your event, but people insisted on having big events. And you, the consumers, went to these events. And that is where individual responsibility comes into play, because there's no way I'm taking my good money, the money that I work hard for, pull up to the event, and when I get there, it lit back. It ain't happening coming, but then there is no fool. So when they would have gotten the event and they saw what's happening inside, I was gonna call security to ask the promoter to come down to me because they want a refund. I wasn't going in. I want a refund. When I call you and they can't get me a refund, then my next call will be to Ronald Chapman and his team because the Martin unit got to come and shut down this event. Because I want my refund because I'm not going in any event that is crowded. If I cannot go in an event and stay with my friends in a bubble, or I stay with myself in a corner, and nobody underneath me, I ain't going inside. And it's not only events, it's those same things were happening inside the clubs too. I remember seeing Red Door lit back, Jamestown right back, and it's like, these people are going this place to the saying it's how you pull up to a venue, to anywhere, and see it full during COVID. Sometimes even before COVID, and think you're going inside. That don't make sense. And I myself used to leave home on many occasions and say going XYZ, so then 6 minutes mojos, whatever, maybe Thursday night. I just want to drink or something, so I pull up to the place and it full. It's like, okay, time to head back home because I can't do the crowd. I'm not going to put myself through the crowd because I'm going to be there, I'm going to be uncomfortable because all I'm thinking in my mind is, okay, this person a bit too close underneath me. I can't really walk to the bar and not rub up on Jackie and she girls. I can't go to the bathroom and not butt up with somebody down alongside there. This ain't really working out, So you know what? All that's going to be on my mind. Going in this space. So I'm going to spend my way at somewhere where I'm not comfortable. It just don't make any sense. So I'm going to use my individual responsibility, use my brain that was given to me by my mom, and I'm not going to the place. I'm heading back home because that's the best option where it can be safe. So we put ourselves in these situations. The only person we have to blame is ourselves, because many of us went into spaces where we know we're not safe, where protocols were not being followed, and do what we had to do. We sit down and bash the bus crawl. But many of you went to events that were just as crowded as the bus crawl. All that happens is your event happened to be in open air and the bus crawl was in the bus. But pot can't tell kettle. He backside black. You cannot be hypocritical. When you say A, you gotta say B. So everybody has a part to play. From the event promoter, from you the individual, from government, everybody. Because I don't expect that I gotta come and tell you. I tell you that an event is supposed to be a specific size. I give you approval. I come and check out wherever your case may be. So I trust that you take into account not just your own well-being. We are fellow citizens. So if I trust and they grant your approval to have an event, and I don't get a chance to check it out, or every case it be, I hope that you were following protocols. You're ensuring that you, as well as your citizens, your fellow Barbadians, your people that are giving you money, are being safe, are able to party in a safe space. So everybody has a part to play in this whole thing. Everybody has something, even me, myself. All of us did something to contribute to this situation that we're in. Whether it's a big part or a small part, we all did something, basically. So putting the blame on government alone is not realistic, because like I said, they can only do so much. They don't have the brain. They cannot come and tell you, okay, Kemar, you get the event XYZ, and in here crowded though, government can't come and say, Kemar, boy, come and go home. It's up to you to say, you know what, I'm getting in here because you're too crowded. You know what, I'm getting here because I see them got the temperature gun, I see them got the sanitization going on, I see people they wearing their mask. Or you know what, I'm going in here because I can't practice social distancing in here properly. Is that everybody jumble up. So my hope is that for the new year, when we come out of this second lockdown and then we go back to some sort of state of normalcy, that event promoters have smaller events and we get to have this sort of group package kind of something. You're party in your group setting. So you only a corner, you reserve a corner that is required to fit in. So you 10 friends or however much friends that is your fat corner. So I will expect somebody not your friend to come in that fat corner. Because when I get that y'all still want fat, there's nothing wrong with fatting. I used to fat too. But just that I decided, what COVID come and happen, I ain't getting the fat because I spend the money to get in the body fat where I have to be thinking in my mind, I'm going to come here and catch COVID. So I stay home, I watch the fat videos, I live through the videos and I enjoy my time through the videos. Since everybody's snapping anyways and posting on Instagram, by the time I watch everybody's story, I put together what happened and I can put together what happened in the event. I get a full production. A full production with the comfort of my living room without COVID. So I really hope that we could really get out of the situation that we've put ourselves in. So when we reopen, you're gonna reopen at first and people are gonna do what they have to do at first. Then when they're gonna get back comfortable, and things gonna go back downhill. And that's where the issue lies. There needs to be some sort of consistency. Because we're gonna be home now for these 2 weeks and you're saying, no, why should I do XYZ? After the first 2 weeks after the lockdown, you can be doing it, you know. And then after that, you say, okay, you don't care. It doesn't bother you. You're in it to make money. Or you in it for your own personal, you want fat, so again a fat. And keep this back crowded, and keep this cruise back again there. Because that is where left home to come and do. And we need to snap out of that immediately. Now I want to talk about everyday activities lastly for, you know, the end of the podcast. But we hope you guys are following where I'm coming from. Is that my main point is that all of us played a part in where we are in this situation. I too. I played a part. I'm not saying that I'm the righteous Kemar. I followed all the protocols and I thought I crossed every T, because I did not. And I have realized that I didn't do that. I've came to that realization. I hope that you do too also, because everything that you do contributes, whether it's positively or negatively. If you wear a mask, you sanitize, and you practice social distancing, you're contributing in a positive way. If you do none of those things, you contribute in a negative way, because you are potentially spreading the virus. But let's get down to the last point in terms of everyday activities. And this got to do with supermarket shopping and all these kind of things, because my thing is, I don't mind people going to the supermarket. I really do not mind, because I know everybody is not fortunate enough to go and buy in a bulk, or to go once in a while, those kind of things. Some people have to go literally every day, every 2-3 days. Some people have to go every week, and things like that. So I don't really mind the long lines, because some people are just there for whatever reason. My issue with the long lines though is when there's no social distancing taking place in these said lines. That's my issue with the long lines. Seeing the videos and the people jumble up, it's like, okay, is this video pre-COVID? You're just gonna be looking for a mask. That's be the mark for me. Do we see a mask in this video? Okay, here's one under his chin. So this is, during COVID. So then why is Fred under Daphne so closely? Why is this body, under that body so closely? Why are they all jumbled up? There needs to be social distancing. So I don't mind you going to the market. Like, I don't mind. Line could be from here, from Popular. It could be from Popular to the end of Popular. I don't mind. I just want to see you guys, being safe while standing in line. My thing is, sometimes I go to the market, sometimes I go places, and people, I'm not a confrontational person. So if I see someone, stand behind me a bit too close, sometimes get like a little lot, say, no, okay, well, just dress back a little bit. Or if I'm with someone, I will, just look at them and tell them something. So they're talking, because after I tell them, I'm looking back at you. So you know that, okay, this person just said something about me. And then looking at the floor to make sure you see, okay, well, no, I too close on this person. But then what I tend to do also is that I give myself more than 6 feet between the person that is in front of me. So if someone happens to come behind me less than 6 feet, I can ease up a bit. Some people don't practice social distancing. They may lines, and it's like it's a normal day. And even on a normal day, I definitely don't want anybody underneath me in the line. And the thing is, like, we don't know something called personal space. Clearly, we don't. How hard is it for you to stay 6 feet apart from somebody? How hard is it for you to wear a mask? And to wear the mask correctly, man, it's not hard. I love wearing a mask. It blocks me from seeing my nose. It blocks me from seeing if my face somebody breaking out the bottom half of my face, you can't see. All you can see is my eyes, and that's good enough for me. My eyes and eyebrows. That's all they want you to see. My eyes and eyebrows. So you understand why it's so hard about wearing a mask. It's sanitization. I can understand that, because sometimes it honestly just slips in mind. And I'm like that, because sometimes I would touch something and I forget I touch it, and then put my hand in my eye or rub my face, because it takes a while to get out certain behavior, especially if we've been doing them for a long time. But for the most part, I try to sanitize as much as possible. As soon as I may be out with somebody and they give me like a reminder, okay, Mario, just touch XYZ, but you don't sanitize, and I'll be like, oh shoot, yeah, like things like that. So just you gotta remember to do these things. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect and I'm following all the protocols and I'm the best at everything, and I am fighting COVID better than anybody else, because the truth is that we're all struggling. But if we want to get out of this, we need to do better, because many of us are quite irresponsible at times, and we just do not do what we're supposed to do. So I want to take away from this episode is that individual responsibility is important. Only you have the control over your own health and wellness. So when you're out with your friends, family, colleagues, just make sure to mask up. Because after this lockdown, I want us to be able to do better. Not just for the first 2 weeks when we realized, what, I was really doing the wrong things pre-second lockdown. I want us to continue to do good things. And continue to do what we know we're supposed to do. Because the reality is that COVID isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So we just need to learn to live with it. And the sooner we do that, it'll be better for all of us. That's all I have to say. That's my main thing. Individual responsibility, I want to roll on your heads. Because government can only do so much. The private sector can only do so much. Other people can only do so much. You need to take the responsibility for your own self. That's what you need to do. For example, you relate somebody isn't doing what you know they're supposed to do, and it better be a friend, whoever it is, tell them, what, it will always be with you. If you go with a friend and they were just sanitizing and they're wearing a mask properly, I just be with you, so I'm telling you, put on your mask. That's conversation end right there. Because for example, you went out somewhere that I don't know, or doing things that you shouldn't be doing, and you coming around me, you potentially putting me at harm too. Because you're being my friend, you're gonna be standing up less than 6 feet underneath me and things like that. So I hope that post second lockdown, I hope that you really put these things into practice. Sit down and think about things you've done last post lockdown and do them differently. So if you're one that attended events and stuff like that, and you realize, what, these people wasn't doing this with you, and this event was just as recorded as before COVID, Kemar right here. Because there are many event people that took the conscious decision. They said, what, I'm not gonna have an event this year because of COVID. Because they knew there were some events that knew that they cannot deliver a product because of COVID, and they decided, what, I'm gonna drift back. The point is, we can get out of this at some point in time. And if you truly love a brand and support a brand, regardless of whenever they come back, you're gonna spend your money. Like, I love Weeting. They had the Weeting last year, but I can wait on Weeting. I can wait, so I will wait. So when Weeting ever returns and we're out of this COVID environment, I will be present. But I wouldn't be going to one during COVID. Even when they advertise the one during COVID, they say, what, that's not for me. I'm not going. So I wouldn't be going to any. But post-COVID, or at least post-vaccine, I wouldn't mind going to certain things. We hope you guys understood as where I was coming from today and enjoyed the little conversations I was having by myself in monologue. And just remember to follow us on Instagram at Candid Conversations with Kemar, so you can stay up to date with the latest. And as usual, I want to thank you guys for listening. Thank you for spending the day with me, whether it's day or night, whatever the case may be. But just thank you for supporting the podcast.
This episode was produced by Taken for Granted Productions.